All right, Emilien, we made it to the vineyards, man. Thank you so much for having me out here. This is a different kind of beautiful, dude. Like I could really get used to this, you know. Also, seeing the terroir here for Champagne, it brings a whole different realness to it, man. Can you tell me about the terroir here in Champagne and what makes it so special?
Well, for me, terroir is two things. First, the soil, and then the climate. So regarding the soil, and you can see it here, that's white stone is chalk. And chalk is key in Champagne, and that's true in every region and sub-region in Champagne. Chalk make the terroir of Champagne so unique. That brings minerality into Champagne. So that's key. And
so it's
here,
like an actual mineral.
yeah, that's
actual,
chalk. I mean, the same you had at school.
Yeah.
That's real chalk.
Yeah.
And then next to the chalk, you have the ground, which is mainly clay here. So clay, chalk, in some other areas you have some sand, but clay and chalk are key for the terroir and the soil of Champagne. Then the climate. We are in the north of Europe, in the north of Champagne, and we have two influences, oceanic influences and continental influences. So we have kind of a good balance between both that allow the grapes and the vineyards to grow slowly but surely and have the great ripeness that we need for sparkling champagne, sparkling wine. So here the grapes we have is Meunier. As you can see on the young leaf, it's white, just like the flower. Meunier in French is the name of the guy that extracts the flower from the wheat. So that's why that grape is called Meunier. And the Meunier fits perfectly well to that land, to that terroir. Then you have some other terroir that fits more to Chardonnay, some other that fits more to Pinot Noir. So each single microclimate fits to one particular grapes. And here is the kingdom of Meunier.
Terroir is everything that makes a vineyard special, from the soil to the rain to the wind, the way the vineyards face. And today, of course, I forgot my stunt doubles. So my new J's got a chance to meet the terroir of Champagne up close. But real talk, the terroir of Champagne is like no other around the world.
So what is biodiversity and how does that affect the actual grapes?
Well, you can grow grapes and plant vineyards and leave it like that, just vineyards. But we believe that an entire ecosystem with some grass, with some trees, will bring back insects, birds around the vineyards, and each one has its role to play. Like the grass will push the roots to go deeper, for example. The trees and the edges we planted will bring back around the vineyard the birds that will kill the disease or the insect that can affect the vineyards. So we want to build an entire ecosystem that is self-sufficient, kind of, and that helps the vines to grow in a better condition and also to allow the terroir to maintain itself and renew it year after year to be able to renew kind of the terroir, the soil, for the next year, the next generation of vine growers and the next generation of vines.
Being in Champagne really changed my perspective on things, especially biodiversity. It's one thing to hear about it, but when you see it up close and personal, it's a whole different vibe.
So with everything that's happening out here, what are some of the measures that you're taking to sustain quality wine production of the future?
Well, we know that we are facing a climate change. The ripeness is higher in Champagne. We harvest earlier and earlier. So we know that we need to adjust to that climate change, and we also know that we need to change what we do in order to limit our impact on the climate. So biodiversity is one of the key. Here we are in the middle of the hedges we planted for these ones 3 years ago. Local species only, to bring back life around the vineyard, to connect through corridor the forest just in front of us to the vineyards.
So thinking about here, where we are, global warming, where's your mind? What are you thinking about for the next 10 vintages and how to attack that?
Well, as we said also before in the vineyards, that to remove the weeds by tilling the ground, push, for example, the roots deeper in the ground. That will allow the vines to be more sustainable to drought, for example, because they will find the water underground. It also increases the acidity of the wine and the grapes, because That's proven. The more you go deep into the soil, the more you get that acidity, that freshness. So this is things we can implement here in the vineyards, also on the winemaking side, to keep the freshness and keep the aromatic profile of our champagne. So it's a sum of small little things that make big differences.
How do you tell a quality DJ from anyone else? A quality DJ gotta know how to read the room, feel the vibe for what's going on. It's the same way a winemaker gotta get in the vineyards to judge what's happening from vintage to vintage. The DJ in Champagne is just one of the endless connections of wine and hip hop. And with Piper Heidsick being the world's most awarded champagne house, I think they doing that.
Hey, Jermaine.
My man, this is exactly the perfect way to end the day. This is exactly what I knew you were going up there for something.
Yeah, I always have a bottle in the vineyard, you
Just
know,
right
just
hanging
in
in
case.
the back.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So some Piper Heidsick champagne to end it
Perfect way, and a magnum too.
in a magnum. Perfect size.
Yeah, that means love. That means love. Wow, man, this is great. Well, I'm kind of blown away.
Yeah, and that's the way we connect vineyards and champagne.
This experience has been fire. When I first met Emilien, I knew that was the homie. I knew we connected, but it feels like being here, tasting champagne, experiencing the region, seeing the people is just giving me a whole different perspective on it, and not just the region. I didn't just learn more about the wine, but I feel like I'm a part of this now. So yeah, man, champagne is different.